Hi, and welcome back to Football Made Simple. The Champions League was back in full swing as Simeone's Atleti hosted Klopp's Liverpool. Simeone's team came away with the win thanks to Saul, and the XG indicated that it was a deserved win. But what tactics did both managers use during this encounter? Let's take a look at them. A quick reminder of the formations that both managers used, as they stuck to their trusted formulae, with Simeone using his preferred 4-4-2. Klopp, in response, used his usual 4-3-3. If you want to get formations, match updates, news, and stats, check out the OneFootball app for free through the link in the description below. As Liverpool dominated the ball with over 70% possession, we'll take a look at what they did during their attack. From deep, Liverpool looked to play out in a controlled manner through short passing to the centre-backs. Early in the match, Atleti pressed high in their 4-4-2, with a forward looking to close down each centre-back. They would look to win the ball or force them long, where Atleti's defence had an advantage against the Liverpool forwards. Alternatively, this would make Liverpool play wide, and the Atleti forward would look to cut off the pass infield, with the winger pressing the man to force them long or backwards. But Atleti's early lead seemed to change their defensive plan, as their high 4-4-2 shifted to a mid-block instead. When Liverpool pushed higher, Atleti could still press at times, however, Liverpool adjusted. They had struggled with the high press, as the centre was 2 versus 2, so now they shifted into a 3-man build-up, with any one of the central midfielders dropping deep to assist this. This also pushed the fullbacks wider and higher, but this may have played into Simeone's plan. Atleti defended extremely narrowly, with the wingers practically being central midfielders often, meaning that from these positions, Liverpool often found themselves outnumbered in the centre of the pitch. This also limited the space Liverpool could operate with in the half spaces. Firmino often dropped extremely deep to try and even up these midfield numbers. But as a result, they were forced to attack into the wide regions. But in the first half, Atleti would then efficiently shift across with their high work rate to prevent Liverpool making progress down the flanks. By doing this, they prevented the fullbacks, particularly Trent, from crossing from favourable positions by the byline, and instead made them attempt deep crosses, which Trent is capable of, but it is a harder skill. In fact, Trent attempted 17 crosses but only completed 3 of them, whilst Robertson only completed 1 out of 5. They tried to combat this by making more time for their wide players. On the right, Henderson, Salah and Trent often worked as a unit. Henderson would drop deep into the right back position, drawing Lamar, with Salah tucking in and taking Lodi with him, which would then free Trent to attempt a cross. And at the same time, Liverpool were looking to overload the box during these phases. Alternatively, if Lodi looked to stick with Trent, a pass into Salah could be on. One thing to note is that often from these positions, Firmino would make a dangerous third-man run into the wide areas on either side, but was often not found with a pass. So instead of attacking through the centre constantly, they looked to use the width to open up the centre. This was attempted through frequent crossfield passes between the centre-backs, with the hope being that in the time when Atleti were constantly shifting, horizontal gaps would be opened for Liverpool to take advantage of with their narrow wingers. But again, Atleti are a well-drilled unit and ensured that this didn't happen. Often, they dropped into a 4-4-2, allowing Liverpool's midfield to play ahead of them. Liverpool often got impatient, with half of their shots being speculative from outside the box, with Atleti always ensuring that a man was applying pressure to the shooter. As a result, the lack of penetration meant that Liverpool didn't create many high-quality chances. After going ahead early, Atleti were limited in their attacking ambition. But from deep, they rarely looked to play out, as Liverpool pressed fairly high. So instead they would look to play the ball long, with Oblak attempting 26 long balls compared to Alisson's 6. They would look to hit Morata, whilst men gathered behind and ahead of him, either for the knockdown or the flick on. It was interesting to note, as they shifted to one side for the long ball, if they didn't win possession, Liverpool often had plenty of space to quickly switch the ball wide to. But when they did have controlled possession, especially when Llorente came on, Atleti's wingers were used as central midfielders. This meant that their fullbacks acted as the auxiliary wingers to provide the team with width and to attempt the majority of the crosses, and this did lead to some good chances. But realistically, the majority of the game was nowhere near Liverpool's defensive third, and they were happy to protect the lead. Atleti were content with attempting counter-attacks, but often couldn't get men up to support in time. But as always, not every tactic was covered, so I'd love to hear down below what else you noticed. What in your opinion did Simeone do differently than other managers to get a result against Liverpool? And how do you see the second leg going? Drop it down in the comments below. But that's all for today, and remember, keep it simple.
Thank you.